Alright guys, today we're here to break down the Columbus Blue Jackets upcoming season. However, before we get started, in light of the events that have taken place in the last few days, we just want to have a pay tribute and our respects to Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew Gaudreau and the Gaudreau family for obviously the two lives lost. It's a great tragedy, not just in the world of hockey, but in just life in general. You never want to see anyone lose their life so young and so tragically, let alone, a superstar that so many people look up to. Yeah, it's a great tragedy, and our hearts go out to the Gaudreau family and all affected by the lives lost of Matthew and Johnny Gaudreau. But yes, without further ado, we'll jump into the video. This is obviously a tougher one, which is why we're starting with Columbus Blue Jackets. It was never going to be easy given the circumstances, but yeah, we'll jump in and we'll have a look at how their upcoming season is starting to look. I'll hand over to Jaden and he'll take you through the projected lineup.
Yeah, so we're using cap wages here just to go through the projected lineup, just make it easy. So we got Ken Johnson, Fantilli, and Marchenko on the top line. Chinnikov, Jenner, Monahan on the second. Olivier, Sillinger, and Danforth on the third. And I think it's Pither. I forget how to say his name. Corelli and
Go with that.
yeah, Fix. And I just call him Fix. So look, obviously you got your defense as well. Wawrinski, Severson, Provorov, Juracek, Harris, and Goodbranson. Goalies being Meslikin, Steele, and Tarasov. So not much improvement. They do bring in Sean Monahan, probably the big signing, who had a really great season last season. The question is, can he, replicate what he did? And then just a few fill-in positions, honestly. Like you got Ken Johnson there, looking like he 1.8 mil on the first line, 950,000 in Fantilli. It's not a very expensive first line, even top six, even just top every line. They don't really have anyone over $5 million besides Monahan, and it's only by 5.5. The money's in the defense. Hopefully that means they can play defense, and you're just hoping that Meslikins can have a decent enough season to hold it through. But look, they've traded out Lione. They've obviously lost Gaudreau, and they haven't really brought in pieces to replace those losses, obviously. So look, it's probably gonna. My prediction probably 8th or 7th in the Metro is probably where they're going to line up. I'm not too sure about where you predict them to be.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the same as you. The one player that stands out for me is Voronkov. I feel like they've got him projected in the press box down there, but I dare say he's going to be in that starting lineup. He performed relatively well last season. It just seems very strange that he's not in there. So I dare say he's going to come in over a Fix Walensky or a Pither. But yeah, I mean, look, Patrick Laine wanting out of Columbus was always going to hurt because, it was very hard to get something for him, something decent for him. They luckily got Harris, and I think it was a second. So at least they got something.
I think they just got Harrison, didn't they? They gave up a second in Line.
Oh, no, they gave up a second. Yeah. So even worse, like you've got a player who was potentially a 30, 35, 40 goal scorer, and you literally have to pay someone to take him. Like that's gonna cripple a franchise alone, let alone obviously the tragedy with Johnny Gaudreau as well. So yeah, unfortunately for Columbus, like it's looking like it's not going to get any better than it has been over the last couple of seasons. We know the last couple of seasons been extremely disappointing considering the expectations around them, but those expectations I reckon are pretty much gone, and I don't think anyone's going to be expecting too much from this team. Maybe that helps, takes a little bit of pressure off. They've obviously got some really good young talent in Fantilli, Kent Johnson, Marchenko, Barkov, as I said, Chinikov. They're all around that. Fantilli's obviously youngest, but they're all around that 20 to 24 years of age. So a really good sort of group there. And if Sillinger can continue to grow as well, they've got the potential. I just don't think that they're there yet. They're still probably 2 or 3 years away now, especially with losing Line and Gaudreau. So yeah, unfortunately, Columbus fans, it's looking like probably just going to be draft lottery hopefuls again this season.
Yeah, look, I could see an upset. Like they've got a decent amount of money in their defense. 4 out of the 6, are 27 or above. Only one 20-year-old, one 24-year-old. So you got a little bit of experience on that back line, which hopefully can mean something. Meslikin's obviously been a goaltender for a while now. He hasn't had the greatest seasons, but we've seen bounce backs. And then look, they've got a very young forward line up front, so that's probably where it's always easier to improve the forward line than I would say defense or goaltending, because it's just so many more positions available. So I feel like that's a real upside, and I feel like they've done well in regards to building from the back out, and just relying on Meslikins and Tarasov there in the net. Obviously, like you said, you got Voronkov, Malatesta, Johnson, and Christensen on the press box as well, and maybe some other people that come through depth. Surprising, especially seeming how small this squad is. I can see people getting rotated pretty quickly and easily. Yeah, look, I'd pretty much say there's no expectations, so absolutely no pressure whatsoever to do anything but play your best game. And I feel like those are sometimes some of the most dangerous teams, is once they start
Yeah.
playing their game.
And that's what it could be like as well, because you're expecting Fantilli to take another step this season. Kent Johnson's 21 now, and he's had a sort of up and down couple of injuries as well. But yeah, like they have a lot of talent there. They just need to put it together. If Cole Sillinger can take that next step as well, all of a sudden, maybe that's some pressure off of Boone Jenner. He's not as expected to eat as many minutes. The likes of Fantilli and Sillinger can take maybe that top six. Because I don't mind Boone Jenner, but for me, he's more of a third line center than a second. But
Yeah.
I know that's your captain. I don't mean to talk bad on him. I like Jenner, but that's just where I see him. Um, if you have a true top six. But yeah, look, the good news is that defense, you've got some relatively solid players there. I mean, Werenski's a gun. I should know, good old sign puck. Love that boy. But Damon Severson, he's a very reliable defender. He's probably shouldn't be on the top pairing, but when you're paying someone 6.25, they probably need to be on the top pairing. But Juric is coming through pretty solid as well. Hopefully he can have a full season without injuries or having to go up and down. And the Jordan Harris one's going to be an interesting one. Traded out of Montreal, can he provide like Columbus just with something new? And then obviously on their goalies, that Merzlikins thing's going to be the big factor. If you can get an Elvis Merzlikins at his best and that defense clicking, well, the offense may not need to fire as much. This young offense may be able to do enough to get them by. Either way, even if all that did happen, I still don't see them getting anywhere near a wild card spot. But they could drag themselves off of the bottom of the Metro. But it's a unfortunately this is what happens. When you don't play your cards right. Obviously, the situation with Line went south. A couple other decisions they've made along the way have gone south. And then obviously the tragedy with Gaudreau. So things aren't exactly going to plan for Columbus, but they still have some youth to build around. So I don't think it's all lost. I just think they're still 2 to 3 years away.
Yeah, well, they got heaps amount of cap. basically 24 million. As we can see here on the screen, I'm just looking at the salaries. Draft picks, they've got all their draft picks for the next 2 years, and then only some depth piece draft picks like fourths and sixths and sevenths from other teams, which isn't much, but it shows that when these bad contracts happen mid-season or whatnot, and teams need to offload, you're going to be looking at Columbus, and that's how they're going to accrue these top end draft picks or maybe even prospects. And I could see them fast tracking their rebuild pretty quickly if they do it right because of the amount of cap space they have. And not many teams have that much cap space. So a lot of teams are going to be looking to Columbus for offloading bad contracts. So they're going to be smart on what they eat. You can't just eat everything. But I think they can take some pretty big prospects or first and second round picks from teams coming up this season, especially around the trade deadline and whatnot, when teams really don't want some players. So yeah.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's just another rebuild season that maybe you're hoping for another top 3 draft pick just to add to your kit. And yeah, because obviously you've got the likes of Fantilli. Can't remember who they drafted last season for some reason. It was Caden Lindstrom, center. So you've got him drafted at 4th overall. So he's coming through. He'll be coming through at some point. And then if you can get another top 3 prospect as well to add to all the rest of your young picks, then yeah, all of a sudden this team becomes quite dangerous in a few seasons if those young players can develop. So I think you got to watch out for Columbus, but I think it's it's 3 seasons from now. So you're gonna have a poor season this season, probably an improved season next season, and then maybe that 3rd season from now is when they start to really shine.
Yeah. Look, if you're a Columbus fan, you're really watching these prospects, honestly, seeing who can perform this year and who can get the call up, get that experience, and hopefully develop faster. So that's what you're really looking for. So you're looking for a Lindstrom, who else? Like a Charlie Alec, like someone just to take a quick step. That's probably what they need to fast track this by a year. Is just one of those kids, young guns, to just take a quick step, fast track their progress, get that experience, make sure they don't get injured, and that way they can maintain a lower salary cap, get that experience for the future. But like I said, their draft capital is looking good. Could be better, but the only expensive contract on this team is probably Werenski. You can live with a Severson one. I know the term's not great, but other than that,
6.25. You
yeah,
can sort of deal with that.
it a mid-level contract is not going to destroy you. It's not a 9 million plus that turns out bad.
Exactly. And they don't have any other really bad contracts throughout. I know Sean Monahan was questionable at 5.5, but again, that's another one that you can eat. And as we said, they're 3 years away from competing. So 3 years from now, Monahan's only got 2 seasons left. Stevenson's still got 4 seasons, but 4 by 6.2, it's easier to sort of bury that. Plus, they don't really have anything else around, and the cap's only going up. So, yeah, I just really like to see a Cole Sillinger take another a giant step this season. I think a lot of people have been sort of looking at him with that. He looks like he's ready to go, and it doesn't really sort of. He had a good season last season. I'm not bashing the guy at all, but I'm just hoping that he can go to that next level and maybe put together a 50 to 60 point season this upcoming season. I think if you can see that sort of growth from him, and then obviously the natural growth from Fantilli and a couple other players, I think it'll be a really positive season for Columbus, even though it'll probably still wind up being a a very low finish in the standings.
Yeah. I'm probably keeping my eyes on Marchenko to see if he can develop a little bit more. He's got 3 years on that RFA deal. Just see if he can outperform that. He didn't do too bad last year, 23 goals, which is definitely all right, and 21 the year before. So I'm probably hoping that he could take that next step, get more minutes on the ice, and try and edge for that 30 goal. So that's probably my one to watch there, is just to see if he can scrape that towards that 30 goal mark, or high 20s. But other than that, I think we can leave it there. So yeah, let us know what you think of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Yeah, you can just say your best wishes to Johnny Gaudreau or so in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I guess if you've got nothing else to say, I guess we'll see you next time, guys.
Take care, guys.